show ass to theaters, all right? But in the meantime, let's talk about, like, it is such a great time to be a horror movie fan. Like, and so New Line seems like such a great company to work with. Can you talk about collaborating with them on this project? Because it's a really big deal to fans.
Yeah, well, it's a great moment to be alive because, you know, it is coming back after all this time. I guess you guys were waiting for it, right? Well, it's coming back.
TikTok, baby.
And working with New Line was a thrill. You know, they have like a tradition of horror that is like unparalleled. They were very collaborative, very, you know, open, and it was a thrill, really.
Well, and that's really important for a movie like It, because it's a really beloved property, and you love the book too, so, I mean, did you feel a lot of pressure?
Not really, because, you know, basically
Cool as a cucumber.
Well, the idea when you make a movie like this, and being such a fan of the book and of Stephen King, is mainly staying true to the emotional experience that you had when you read it, and it's as simple as that, you know. And then, of course, like there's the other factor of it, which is making a movie that would blow your mind as an adult, and not as a 14-year-old when you were reading the book. So it's a bit of a combination of those two ideas, and try to make the best of it. So the pressure goes away the moment that you just explore your experience and try to replicate and be faithful to your emotional experience.
Now, speaking of being faithful to your emotional experience, let's just get right to the clips. Can you describe the first clip that everybody's going to see?
No. So, as you might know, it is a horror movie, but it's not only that, it's also a story of love and friendship and a lot of other beautiful emotions. And our main characters are the losers, as you know, and this clip basically is the first moment of the story where we see them blend and start forging that friendship that will take them higher and higher. So here it is.
And there's somebody special that also wants to tell you a little bit of something. So take a look. Watching him give an endorsement to this version of It.
Okay.
Cool. Next.
No, it's a thrill, of course. You know, he's my literary hero. I grew up reading his stuff, and so I couldn't be happier about it. And there was, you know, a deal of expectation for me, because I didn't think of that at one point I would have to show it to King. Of course I knew it, but it wasn't in my mind at the time when we were shooting the movie. And there came that point where, you know, you have to show it to Mr. King. And so I started, like, you know, shaking and everything, but it went well.
Yeah,
really
apparently.
Yeah, he really loved it, and I couldn't be more grateful. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's exciting. So we have some special guests. Can you please introduce?
Yes. Why not? Let me see the faces. I'm going to introduce the first face that I see.
You just saw some of them.
I'm just gonna shout out names and see who comes first. So we have Mr. Chosen Jacobs, who plays Mike Handon. Mr. Jack Dylan Grazer, who plays Ed Casper. Sophia Lillis, Curly Marsh, Jeremy Taylor, Ben Hanscom, Ben Wolfhard, and last but not least, Mr. Wyatt Oleff. We're good.
So, whatever end you want, baby.
Unfortunately, we are missing Mr. Jaden Lever, who couldn't be with us. Jaden plays Bill. Denver.
And it's because he decided that he hated Comic-Con in San Diego, right?
That's a loser.
Or he's basically shooting a
He's shooting a movie, yeah.
Yeah, because he's great.
And I'm sure he would be thrilled to be here, and he's sad that he's not here. So there they are. Look at them.
Yay, Losers Club, I'm going to put you on the spot. Show of hands. Which one of you has never been to Comic-Con before? Oh my God. Okay, so pieces of advice that I've collected for you include deodorant, being very familiar with the schedule.
Non-polyester costumes.
Correct. Non-polyester, San Diego, very flammable place. And also, speed walking. Okay, so like get your little legs ready. Okay. And so, does that sound about right to you?
That sounds right.
Okay.
There's some exercising.
Nice.
So they're running to the craft table like devils.
To pick up their snacks. So I'd like to start by talking about the significance of the name The Losers Club to you guys. Can you each say just a little bit about what that means to you in your hearts after having filmed this movie, you know, and bonded with both real people and your characters with each other? I know, take it away, Doug.
So for me, I mean, I guess it really depends on who you ask what the Losers Club means to them. But for me, I mean, it means a lot of different things, but mainly friendship, of course. And not only like on screen, but really like between us. There's, you know, we've spent a lot of time together, around, what, 60 days together? Probably more, a lot more. And, you know, we really got to know each other, you know, much better than we probably wanted.
Yeah, what's up, guys? The Losers Club, I think it's kind of cool to be a part of a group, no matter what it really is. You know, we all want people who kind of relate to us. So, you know, we all have our certain attributes that make us a little weird in the public view. And I think, you know, we come together and nobody judges each other. And so we're okay with being called losers as we get each other. So I think that's why we like to be here.
I think it means a lot to me in real life, and also obviously in the movie because it's a giant aspect of the movie. But it's a lot of, I guess, being self-aware. Like that's the best thing for you, is to be like as self-aware as possible. And I think a lot of us are. So like with being comfortable calling you like, oh, well, you're self a loser is kind of really cool, in my opinion. But I mean in real life and in the.
I think it's, what is it? Okay, so being a loser, I think it's really cool because we're all losers together, and I think we all have each other, and we all get bullied, and I'm really caught off guard right now, but no, I honestly don't. I think we're all winners in a sense because we all love each other, and
It really is a tough one to follow.
What they said. Each one of us had I'm sorry.
You're surrounded by your Losers Club right now. You're good.
What they said.
Well, I think it's awesome because we're all a bunch of misfits. You can't have the perfect group all the time. So I think we really stand out from all the people that are the normal groups, the great groups, the popular ones. So I think it's awesome to be the losers for once.
All right, so how about we move on to this next clip? Andy, can you set this one up for us?
Yes. So we're gonna see, many of you might have read the book. How many of you read the book? Okay, quite a few. There's a very meaningful moment in the book and in the miniseries where the losers sort of discover the power of being together, the power that comes from being together, and that's a scene. I'm not gonna say the name of it, but I think you're gonna recognize it pretty soon.
You're right there. Roll that one. in that scene, were you actually throwing rocks at each other? Finn, go.
No.
Okay, that's slightly disappointing.
There was one. No, there was one. Didn't you throw one like a real? Or one of us threw like a real one.
It was Jack.
Yeah, Jack threw a real one.
All right, Jack. Let's discuss that for a
Well,
moment.
is that? Well, it was that there was like. Because it was an actual creek, so there were rocks everywhere, and Jack like actually picked one up in the water.
Actually?
It was a foam
Jack
one.
went over the top a little
Oh, I
bit.
might have actually.
Hold on a second, Fabulous Blazer. That's the best part. You don't even remember.
I was too into it, dude. I was too.
Method.
Out of hand.
I had so much like rage in that scene. Andy's like, no, Eddie, you gotta cut back. You gotta cool it down a little. I know you're mad at the Bowers game right now, but just
Because one real rock was thrown, and they were like, "Okay, let's not do that again."
Yeah.
Because they were all foam, but they had like the same kind of weight.
Guys, may I humbly suggest that like later in your lives you're going to hear from someone called the insurance company, and they're I know, like just it's going to be a sad day. But you know what? Speaking of Andy, like. Jeremy down there, can you talk about like how Andy kind of got you into scenes? Because there are a lot of things in this movie that are really hard for any actor to handle, and it really seems like you guys took a lot on.
Well, it was awesome because he came to us and was like, "What are your suggestions on this first?" So he let us give him our suggestions, and then he kind of was like, "No, let's not do that one." So we kind of made the scenes up along with Andy. So we also had a lot of control over that. It was awesome.
That's really cool. I mean, that's the kind of thing that, you know, hopefully shines through in the finished product, is the fact that these actors are creating it with you, and it's not, you know, because film is a collaborative process.
Absolutely, and I believe that, you know, ultimately it's these guys who create the character, and you know, I can only get so far in that sense, and I can give them my, you know, everything I know about the character and everything I know about the story, but it's ultimately them who bring it to life. And then it's about how much, you know, control or how much liberty you give them. And I don't know, how was that?
No pressure.
It was.
No pressure.
I mean, do you want to hear? Joy. Okay, I'll go. So it was really cool having like a lot of control over your character, because then you get a lot of freedom to put as much of yourself into the character as possible. Everyone did that a lot. Jack and I did that a lot. Most of our dialogue between us in the actual movie is all in, like on the cliff. All of that, like the loogie stuff, that was all improv. Like all of us spitting, that was like, because Andy has this. I mean, I won't go into it fully, but we have this like spitting inside joke. So I was like, why don't we just make it a game?
Oh, that sounds really sweet.
Yes, so cool.
The word that we haven't yet mentioned tonight is Pennywise. And Andy, can you talk about creating this version of Pennywise? Because we just saw him, like, I don't know, basically waving a baby arm at us. And it was sort of upsetting.
Well, being, you know, Pennywise is one of the greatest monsters of all time, and Pennywise is, Bob Gray is. The idea of, like, you know, reimagining Pennywise for me was very important to stay true to the essence of the character, but also bring some edge to it and some stuff that people won't expect to see. So it's a very cool balance. What I think, in my opinion, what we brought to this movie with Pennywise.
Can I get like a show by screams? How scared you guys are of clowns in the audience? 1, 2, 3. It's pretty scary, guys. And actually, this is just part 1 of the story, right, Andy?
Yes. There's a part 2, or there's a second half. You know, all of you read the book, know that there's a dialogue between 2 timelines, and the first part of the story is the losers when they're 11, and they're in the script in the book. They're 13 in our movie, and they're adults. Approximately 27 years later, they come back to Derry to fight Pennywise, And that's the second half of the story. So yeah, there is a second part of the movie.
Great. So more baby arms. Great. That's great.
And armpits too.
And just adult arms also.
You remember Adrian Mellon? Anyone remembers Adrian Mellon?
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets killed under a bridge, and Pennywise bites his armpit. How cool is that? It's coming.
Why don't we take this opportunity to do another clip?
And there's a third clip. Who would have said? Which is not a clip actually, but it is something more interesting, and it's another trailer. So here we go.
Yeah.